Welcome. In the tapestry of life, every species has its own rhythm, and for humans, reaching 70 is a remarkable milestone. Yet for many, this age marks a challenging frontier, one that's difficult to cross. Why does the path become so treacherous after 70? What forces conspire against our longevity? Today, we'll uncover the 7 fundamental reasons so many lives are curtailed around this decade, from cellular changes to social structures. Join me as we explore why so many do not live past 70. The body's maintenance and repair systems are remarkable, but as we age, they begin to falter. Chronic conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer become more common and harder to manage. The heart, after billions of beats, may struggle. Blood vessels harden, leading to heart attacks or strokes. Diabetes disrupts the body's ability to regulate sugar, damaging nerves, eyes, and kidneys. Cancer arises as genetic errors accumulate and the immune system weakens, allowing rogue cells to grow unchecked. These illnesses rarely exist alone. Comorbidity, having multiple chronic diseases, complicates treatment and recovery. Managing these conditions requires constant vigilance, medications, dietary changes, and frequent checkups. Side effects from one treatment can worsen another condition, creating a web of challenges. The psychological toll is immense. Anxiety and depression often accompany chronic illness, further impacting health. The will to persevere becomes as crucial as any medication. Ultimately, the accumulation of chronic diseases is a primary barrier to longevity. Modern medicine helps, but for many, the cumulative weight is too much, cutting the journey short. These are the long-term consequences of a lifetime of living, the biological price of passage. For those over 70, chronic conditions are often the greatest obstacle to a longer life. The struggle is relentless, and the body's reserves are finite. Each new diagnosis adds to the burden, making recovery harder. The fight against chronic illness is a marathon, and not everyone reaches the finish line. For many, these persistent internal battles are what ultimately curtail life beyond 70. The rising tide of chronic conditions is a formidable force in the story of human aging. Our immune system is a tireless guardian, but with age it weakens, a process called immunosenescence. The production of new immune cells slows, and the thymus shrinks, reducing our ability to fight new threats. Infections that were once minor can become life-threatening. A simple cold may progress to pneumonia. Vaccines become less effective, leaving older adults more vulnerable to diseases. The immune system's ability to detect and destroy cancerous cells also declines, increasing cancer risk. Chronic, low-grade inflammation sets in, fueling many age-related diseases. This creates a dangerous cycle. Weakened immunity leads to more illness, which further taxes the body. Each infection or illness chips away at resilience. The immune system, once a fortress, develops cracks and weaknesses. Vulnerability to infection and cancer becomes a fundamental reason why many do not live past 70. The body's guardian grows weary and the risks multiply. Aging is in part the story of a fading immune defense. Mobility is the foundation of independence, but aging erodes strength, balance, and coordination. Sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass, weakens the legs and core, making falls more likely. Diminished vision, balance, and sensation in the feet further increase risk. For older adults, a fall can mean a catastrophic fracture, especially of the hip. Recovery is slow, often leading to permanent loss of mobility and independence. The psychological impact is profound. Fear of falling leads to reduced activity, which causes further weakness. This cycle of inactivity and fear accelerates decline. Falls can trigger a cascade of complications: surgery, infection, immobility, and despair. Many never regain their previous level of function. The risk of falling becomes a daily threat, undermining confidence and autonomy. Reduced mobility isolates individuals, increasing the risk of depression and social withdrawal. Sometimes, it's not a specific disease, but the body's mechanical failure that curtails life. The consequences of a single fall can be life-altering or life-ending. For many, the loss of mobility marks the beginning of the end. The threat of falls is a critical tipping point in the journey beyond 70. Our memories and reasoning define us. But for many, cognitive decline blurs the map of life after 70. It often starts subtly, misplaced keys, forgotten names, but can progress to mild cognitive impairment and eventually dementia. Alzheimer's disease, the most common form, systematically erases memory, language, and problem-solving abilities. As dementia advances, daily tasks become impossible. Individuals may forget to eat, take medication, or recognize loved ones. The burden on caregivers is immense, often requiring round-the-clock supervision. Dementia increases vulnerability to infections, malnutrition, and immobility. The brain's control over basic functions fails and the body shuts down. Cognitive decline complicates the management of all other health issues. It isolates individuals in a world they no longer understand, making them completely dependent on others. The progression of dementia is often the final insurmountable challenge. For many, the fading of the cognitive map is a direct threat to survival. It's not just memory that's lost, but the very essence of self. The risk of accidents and neglect rises sharply. Cognitive decline is a profound barrier to longevity. The journey beyond 70 is often cut short by the mind's gradual unraveling. The loss of self is one of aging's greatest tragedies. Humans are social by nature, but aging often brings profound loneliness and isolation. The loss of spouses, friends, and daily routines shrinks social circles. Physical limitations and giving up driving make it harder to stay connected. Hearing loss can turn conversations into struggles, prompting withdrawal. Chronic loneliness is as damaging as smoking. It raises risks for heart disease, stroke, and depression. Isolation increases stress, weakens immunity, and accelerates cognitive decline. Motivation to eat well, take medication, or stay active dwindles without social support. Living alone means emergencies can go unnoticed, turning minor issues fatal. Social connection stimulates the brain. Isolation leads to mental atrophy. The absence of a support network is a critical safety issue. Social isolation attacks health on multiple fronts: body, mind, and safety. For many, the loss of connection is a direct contributor to mortality. Our bonds are as vital as the air we breathe. Nutrition powers the body, but aging makes eating well surprisingly difficult. Appetite fades, taste and smell diminish, and preparing meals becomes exhausting. Dental problems and difficulty chewing lead to poor food choices. Older adults may rely on processed foods, missing essential nutrients. The body absorbs nutrients less efficiently with age, leading to deficiencies even with adequate intake. Malnutrition accelerates muscle loss, weakens immunity, and impairs healing. Cognitive function suffers. Dehydration and vitamin deficiencies can cause confusion and memory loss. The cycle is vicious. Poor nutrition worsens health, making it harder to eat well. Malnutrition is a quiet but relentless force, sapping strength and resilience. It undermines the ability to cope with other challenges of aging. The empty plate becomes a symbol of decline. Good nutrition is essential, but often out of reach for many over 70. Medical advances abound, but access is not guaranteed for those over 70. Financial barriers force impossible choices between medication and basic needs. Reduced mobility makes getting to appointments difficult, especially in rural areas. Navigating complex healthcare systems is overwhelming, especially with cognitive decline. Communication breakdowns and ageism can lead to missed diagnoses and inadequate care. Fragmented care from multiple specialists creates confusion and risk. Preventative care is often neglected, shifting focus to crisis management. Many older adults miss out on timely, comprehensive care. The promise of modern medicine remains out of reach for too many. Inadequate healthcare support becomes a decisive factor in shortened lifespans. The journey beyond 70 is often limited by barriers to care. We've explored the intertwined challenges that shape life after 70. Chronic illness, weakened immunity, falls, cognitive decline, isolation, poor nutrition, and limited healthcare. These are not destinies, but challenges calling for action and compassion. We can nurture longer, healthier lives through conscious choices, social connection, and advocacy for better care. Supporting healthy aging is a collective responsibility. The story of our lifespan is still being written by science, by society, and by each of us. If you found this exploration insightful, like and share your thoughts below. Thank you for joining me.